Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to Matt's Hour, episode 52 on our dating failures. I am falling solo at the moment. Hopefully, Nuke will join me here shortly. He's running a little bit late. And I, of course, am currently under the weather. If anyone has seen me on Twitter, I have had one hell of a week. Let me tell you guys, everything was going great up until Saturday. Had a bunch of friends coming over to visit me, had about 10 people packed into my place. It was a wonderful time. It was my time to host the gathering of the friends. And unfortunately, I dislocated, can't even fucking talk right now. I dislocated my shoulder while playing some beach volleyball on Saturday. And on top of that, the chick I was making out with gave me a cold. So it has been a 1-2 punch of just absolute terror beyond your wildest dreams this week. So it's been hell, but we're back at it. Oh, and the reason why we didn't have a show last week was a massive thunderstorm came rolling through and the power got taken out. So it's been a hell of a week, but nonetheless, we're back at it here. And the reason why I wanted to tackle this topic in particular today is because everyone you see on this corner of the internet is constantly talking about, their receipts, basically flexing on other people. I've got the 10,000 girls that I've slept with and the 10 plates I'm spinning, and all the women are coming out of the trees and under holes in the ground and behind every rock and around every corner just to get a load of me. And obviously we know this is all complete bullshit. And I've been an advocate for a long, long time that the best way for you to actually learn in this space is just to get out there, roll with the punches, take your failings, take your sluggings. And that's honestly the best way that you're going to learn. And you got to be comfortable with failure and such. So we're basically just going to go through a number of failures and issues and mistakes and other things that people can basically learn, which is ideally what you all should be doing, and quite frankly, what the space was founded on in the first place. What do we always say? Guys swapping notes. And that's basically what it came about to being. It's just, hey, I tried XYZ thing. I got ABC result. I tried it Y number of times, and therefore I'm going to change, or I'm going to keep this, or whatever. Basically, my buddy Jack Napier says this all the time. He describes the RP as basically, Nintendo games, but with boobs. And basically what he means by that is it's just play testing, everything that you're doing in this space, whether it's what kind of openers you're using, what kind of fashion are you going with, what's your, go-to spot for taking a chick on a date, all these kinds of things. It's just play testing, got to figure out what works for you and all that good stuff. So I think one of the things that really stuck out of my brain, one of the first mistakes that I ever made when first getting into this stuff, and also just for ridiculous amounts of approaches and relationships and stuff before I really got switched on. I think one of the biggest things that guys make mistakes on is not being upfront with your intentions, in the sense of you think that chicks are going to catch these, kind of, sly little signals that you're giving to them and things like this. And there definitely is room for flirting and, escalation and, all that good stuff and innuendos. And that's not exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm really talking about is, and so many guys will know this if you've been in the game yourself a bunch of times, is you kind of just expect the chick to kind of make a move with you, kind of deal. For all the guff that we may give the shows like Fresh and Fit and stuff like that, it is actually kind of funny to watch the chicks just like genuine responses of like describing their situations, and the guys on the podcast just saying, "Oh no, the dude wanted to smash." And it's literally just anything, because chicks are kind of oblivious to this fact, or maybe they're willfully ignorant or whatever it is, or maybe they don't want to admit it or whatever it could be. They really just do want to believe that a guy does just want to spend time with them without wanting to smash. And of course, we all being dudes know for a fact that none of us at any point in history ever since time immemorial have decided to take a girl out to dinner without the full intention of smashing them. And but no, chicks will generally think this. He's like, "Oh no, he was just being nice. It's just something that friends do and things like this." Which is just so farcical and absurd on its face when guys think about it. I see people in here on the chat, friends of mine. Chad Elkins is in the chat. Vince from Masculine Geek is in the chat and such like this. And it's like, dude, I don't even take like my guy friends out to a serious like steak dinner like that. No way. It's gotta be like a really, really special occasion like that. It's like, no, we're dudes. We'll go meet at the bar. We'll go have a drink. We'll go bitch about our problems and talk about our jobs and women and the sports ball and everything else that's going on that day and age. I'm not taking one of my best friends out to a steak dinner on a Tuesday night for no reason. Get out of here. Well, so what you got to do in these situations, and what I've found is the easiest way of doing this, is you basically are escalating to some degree before you even decide to commit to take a chick out onto a date or something like that. You never want to be in this situation where where she thinks that you're not there to secure the bag, basically. And that doesn't mean like you go out of the bat right away and initiate like some hardcore like sexual language and stuff right away. I mean, you can do that. There are some circumstances where that might be warranted, and also kind of depends what you want. But one of the easiest ways I found to do this is kind of like just do a simple screening of girls, just gauge genuine interest basically in the start of the date. And I'm sure you've heard this from plenty of other people before, but this is just a system that we found works pretty well, and I use it myself and I like it a lot. It's just simple commands of what you're going to do with the chick on a date, whatever it was. I've gone over before how my personal favorite first date is the walk. I really like going on walks. I think it's easy. You can easily turn it into other things, engage the situation as to how it's going. I've got a small little town, like square area around here with a bunch of shops, and there's a little like stream going through it. And there's and there's a waterfall next to a dam, and there's like, it's just an easy little spot where you can walk around. There's a park next to it and such. So I will just like, take the chick to the park for a walk. And if it's going well, oh, well, there's a shop over here we can go stop at and go walk around in and take a look at things. Or there's a coffee shop nearby, and oh, we can go get a drink. Or, depending on if it's late in the day, there's a bar, so we can go to a bar. It's also not too far from my place, so we could just hop in the car and go to my place if that's easier too. So it leaves you with options. Or if it's going bad, you can kind of just disengage really early. It's like, oh, okay, this walk isn't going too well. We're not having that great of a conversation. Things aren't flowing properly. All right, see ya. You can just leave amicably without being, out on your ass on money or out on your ass on time, So that's why I like the walk. But anywho, one of the ways you can judge this and kind of gauge the situation properly, so again, you're not out on your ass, is just giving simple commands at the very, very beginning. Okay, sweetheart, meet me at X place at Y time and wear Z thing. And why I like to say add the wear Z thing is it's just a gauge of interest. If the chick is going to be, has a stick up her ass and is going to fight me on that, then she's not worth meeting me in person in the first place anyway. And also, you can just gauge this depending on what you're doing. Like, okay, I'm going out on the walk. Well, that's easy because it could just be casual, very simple. So it's like, hey, meet me at X Park at 8 o'clock, whether it's like in the morning on the weekend, or you could do like, maybe in the afternoon, depending on whatever it is, like pick your time and wear something casual. Or if you're going out for dinner, say, wear something red, like wear a red dress or wear a black dress or whatever. You can play around with this, gauge it as you like. This is just a system I found works the best. And also, you can gauge it really easily in like a dinner scenario, which again, you shouldn't really be taking chicks out to dinner on the first date anyway, but maybe that's your prerogative. Maybe you already know this girl, whatever, play around with this stuff. You should always be questioning any guy that you hear online, myself included. Like, go test this stuff out. Don't take our fucking words for it. Like, go and play around with it. We're not the ones living your life. We're not the ones talking to, your chicks that in your social circle. So play around with this stuff. Figure out what works best for you. This is just the system that I like the best. I like the walk, set it up at a time and a place, tell a chick what to wear. If she fights you on it, then, you're dodging a bullet basically. So that's one thing you could do right there. The other thing being attached to this let's say you're actually on the date, you actually get there, the chick shows up, she doesn't fight you, she's basically just being amicable the entire way here. The next thing you need to be doing is you need to be the one who is escalating physical contact, because the chick sure shit isn't going to do it. And I remember specifically this. I can list a couple of my own failures here. I remember, God, what was this? God, this has been like maybe 10 years ago now, maybe even more. Wow. We were just thinking about that, but I remember back in my early years in college, like a freshman in college or something like that. And I remember on two separate occasions, I had a chick back to my dorm room and back in my bed, staying over for the entire night. One occasion, we had basically no clothing on, and I just did absolutely nothing. Didn't escalate, didn't go for it, didn't make the move, didn't say anything because, I was just like in that mindset of, well, Me Too wasn't a thing yet, but it was basically like that, like in the brain. It's like, oh, I got to be like the gentleman, got to be like the nice guy kind of thing. Got to make sure she's okay with it kind of deal. Got to make sure she's comfortable. Bull fucking shit. And no spurgs in the audience, please. Nobody in the comments. Nobody go taking shit out of context and causing fucking problems for yourself. It's not what I'm saying. You just need to be the one who actually initiates the, physical contact, whatever it may be. An easy way you can do this on a date is, you're walking. Again, this is why I like the walk. Very simple way of engaging in physical contact, holding hands. Very simple, and then you take it up from there. Maybe you've gone from the holding hands to maybe you wrap the arm around the shoulder, wrap her arm around the waist, things like that. When you're sitting next to each other, don't sit across from each other. Go to like a park bench and sit next to each other. You can have your legs, brushing up against each other. All these little things are building up to, the chick getting more comfortable with you. And then by the end of the first date, which I always do, if I'm not going for a full lay, a full first night lay, if I'm not going that far, then I absolutely am closing it with a kiss, absolutely. There's just no way. Again, if the chick's going to fight me on that, then there's no point of even continuing, because the chick who is interested, the chick who is into you, the chick who is having fun, she's not going to say no to a kiss at the end of the first date. It's just not going to happen. So you don't want to be caught in these situations where you're not physically escalating. The chick is getting the wrong signals. She's thinking, oh, maybe he is just you basically what you're doing if you're not like physically escalating in this way, you're just reinforcing the situation I was talking about earlier, where the chick just thinks, oh, this is just a friends thing. Guys bitch and moan and complain about them being in the friend zone, as it were. And I remember we did a stream about this. Maybe it was, God, maybe man's hour like 28, 29, something like that, maybe 30. One of those numbers in there. I think God, who was on that show? Maybe I think it was Mark, not so obvious. From the UK was on that one, if I remember correctly. I'll have to look back in the archive. But yeah, we did a show on the friend zone once already. But yeah, basically the same thing. It's like, don't be treating this like a friendly, get together with one of your friends. That's, you don't stick your dick in your friends, and you don't stick in. So don't treat your date like she's one of your friends. She's not. She's something different. So those are some of the things I'm thinking right off the top of my head here. Let's go into some of our other failures here. I think another failure the guys have a lot of issues with is the classic, I don't want this to get taken out of context again, but for lack of a better word, I'm going to say respecting the girl's boundaries. All right. Now, again, don't be spurging out with this. Don't be causing problems. Don't be a child. Just understand what I'm getting at here. All right. What we're talking about is about subtext. And one of the best examples I can actually give with this. Do you guys remember that stupid, everyone was bitching about this. It was like a couple of years ago. They were bitching about the Christmas song, Baby, It's Cold Outside. And everyone was saying like, oh my God, this is sexually aggressive and this is predatory and blah, 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 blah. All the fucking middle-aged, single women, were just bitching about it nonstop and causing a bunch of problems. No, basically that's what I'm getting at here. It's like, you're the dude. You're the seducer in the situation. You are the hunter. You're the aggressor. Call it whatever you want. You're the one who's making things happen here. And that's going to require you to push, basically see how far you can go, essentially. Because again, the chick isn't going to do it. Number one, because they are entirely afraid of rejection and they will, always freak out in this regard. So don't expect her to make the first move. It's definitely going to be your responsibility. Hold on one second here. Ah, all right, much better. Had to blow my nose real quick. Colds are terrible. I sound like General Grievous right now. For those of you that are Star Wars fans, being sick sucks. Definitely in the summertime, it's infuriating, and I've just been stuck in here, bedridden with this dislocated shoulder, which hurts like hell and such. But hopefully, I'll be on the mend by next week, and I'll be over this cold nonsense. Probably why it's going to be a relatively short show tonight. I might even just switch this over to a Tales of the Game episode. Maybe we'll see what happens. Anywho, what was I talking about? Escalation. So yeah, this is something you got to be doing, whether it's just holding hands, whether it's when you actually get to having sex with a girl. Like, you're the guy who needs to be leading the interaction and walking everything through it. To answer your question, Melon, if you were not here earlier, I was playing some beach volleyball on Saturday, and I dislocated my shoulder in the process of doing that. To make a long story short, me and one of my friends dived for the ball, and as he was coming down, I saw that he was going to basically land on top of me, and in an attempt to roll out of the way of the what basically turned out to be a wrestling move of him basically landing on top of me, I did not roll out of the way quick enough, and he just came right down on my left shoulder and arm, and that was very painful. I was on the ground for several minutes. It was not fun, but anywho, moving along as we were. Okay, let's see here. So those are some of the biggest issues that are standing out to me right away. I guess another one we can throw in here is I think one of the hold on, let me hide this damn comment here. Sorry, guys. Little discombobulated today, as it were. But anywho, one of the other issues I see a lot of guys running into, and I guess you could call it overinvestment on the first date kind of deal. Especially if you are going to meet a girl via a cold approach, or meet a girl off of a dating app or something like this. And even to some extent, like something like a social circle game or something like that. But something in social circle, you're probably going to have a better hit rate on this problem, and you're not really going to have to deal with this issue too much. But definitely, if you're meeting a girl from what I like to call like low investment, farming, basically, like getting your leads, essentially. If you're getting your leads from somewhere low investment, like a cold approach, like you've only met this girl for a couple of minutes, got her number, moved along kind of deal, or you got her off of a dating app, again, very low investment. Expect the girl also to have low commitment to that anyway. There's going to be a lot of options that the girl's having, certainly from dating apps, could be from cold approach. Again, social circle, it's a little bit easier to mitigate this issue. But if you're getting a girl off of something that's very low investment, expect her to show low investment in that first date to start off with. And basically what I'm referring to right here is like 9 times out of 10, she's just not going to show up. 9 times out of 10, when you're getting a match off of a dating app, the conversation is going to go cold. The chick isn't going to respond to your texts. She got a message from somebody else, so she moved on. The chick's dog died. She got in a car accident. Her grandmother's sick. Her sister is in an emergency. Her best friend is drunk at a house party. Whatever the hell it is, the chick is just not going to show up. So you don't want to be over investing in the first date. When the chick invests in you, that's when you can start investing back into the girl, essentially. So don't be making these mistakes. I remember one, and God, this was such a mistake. I remember back in the day, again, like maybe 10 years ago now or something like that. I got a girl off of a dating app. It was Tinder. It was like right when Tinder was first coming out. I remember this. And I remember I drove, must have been like 25, 30 miles to meet this chick. And I took her out to an Outback steakhouse, and I was in a full suit and tie. More on the suit and tie in a minute here. But basically a huge overinvestment kind of deal here. And here we go. There's the man. Nuke, how are you, man?
Good, man. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant Central Time and not Eastern Time, so running a little behind.
No, you're good, man.
My bad. That's my fault. Sorry, guys.
Nah, you're all good, man. We're just talking about dating failures, and I was touching up on overinvestment. like in your first date essentially, because I mean,
Yeah.
number one, the chick is going to flake most of the time anyway. But why else do you not want to overinvest in the first date, Nuke?
Yeah, well, you don't you can't announce your like you can't do qualifiers and stuff like that before you even meet somebody in person, you know? Because until you meet, you guys are pretty much invisible to each other, you know? At least you are to her. So I don't understand this thing where guys are like, oh, if you tell her to do something or meet you somewhere, you know, kind of like alpha male, the interaction. It's like you're not really doing anything, man. Just, you know, be polite, and then if she shows up, she shows up. If not, then you don't leave your house. You know, it's really that simple.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've always liked setting up for the date, like say like meet me here at X place and X time and wear Z thing. I know some people disagree with it. I like it just because it weeds out the chicks that just aren't remotely interested. You
It all
know,
depends on how the girl, like, if you match or meet a girl and she's like super, you know, kind of relaxed and laid back, and she's like asking you questions and she seems to show a lot of excitement, then yeah, you can kind of like, you know, she's cool, her guard is down, like things are going well. But if she's just a girl that's kind of like one word answers, she's still like setting up to meet you, but she's like one word answers, kind of distant, then you don't say stuff like that, right? It's all about
yeah, for
calibration.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some other huge mistakes or dating failures that you've had in your days, Nuke? Anything immediately stand out to you?
Uh, things that I mess up, like on the
Yeah,
date or before or the whole thing.
whatever comes to your mind, man.
Oh, one of the biggest failures. Um, One of the biggest failures is going to a place which is absolutely packed, and it's just
Yeah,
service is slow, it's hot, you know, um, can barely hear the person in front of you. Like
Y-
choosing the right place is very important, you know.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the classic one that, well, I guess two ones that people would always say to take people to, which are just complete failures in my opinion. Especially on first dates. One is like a loud nightclub, or two, the movies. Like,
Oh yeah.
nobody goes to the movies. Don't be doing that. You can't have like one-on-one time with the girl. You can't talk. You can't break the ice or anything. No, ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to know where you're taking her, and at least maybe go out yourself one day or just walk by it at least at a minimum to like see, okay, would I want to have a conversation? And think it's not only a conversation with the girl. Like, let's say you had like a meeting with a business partner or an old friend. Would you want to take them to a place which is super loud, you can barely hear them? You know,
Hmm.
like you want a place where you could just, you know, obviously you don't want like a quiet lounge or, you know, but also at the same time you want somewhere where you can comfortably talk to someone. So just something to think about. It's something that I messed up a lot in the past, and I think it gets guys because they're just like they open their Google Maps or their Apple Maps and they're like, this place looks good. And I'm like, look, dude, look at the reviews. Like, go on Instagram, look at the place. Kind of, you know, is it spacious? How's the crowd? You know,
Oh
like
yeah,
do
and
a little bit.
oh, and it'll save you for
Yeah,
sure if you have like a place that you normally go to. Like, if you
yeah.
have a whole set, itinerary basically, it's like, hey, get to know the bartenders in the area, get to know, like at what time of day it's busy there, when it's not busy, kind of deal. I mean, I was mentioning before you came on, Nuke, I've got like kind of a little like small town square not too far from where I live, and there's a park nearby. There's a bunch of like little shops. There's a bar. There's a coffee
Hmm.
joint. So there's plenty of options. And I usually like to do the first date is the walk, and we just walk around there. So if it's going well, I can adjust. I can adjust on the fly. It's like, okay, this is going great. We can go to this shop and just walk around and see what's going on. We can go to this bar. We could sit down and have this coffee. It's also not too far from my place. So if it's going really well, we could just go right over to my place, kind of deal. I like having those options.
Right. And I know this sounds like a lot of work, but like once you have a place, that's it. That's your place. Like you don't have to keep doing it every time you go on a date. That's already your like itinerary. Like you don't have to change it every time. Maybe an adjustment here or there, but that's it. Once you find your logistics and you tighten them up, you're pretty much set for the whole year, unless they close the place down or something.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, once you have your hometown, you don't really want to
Yeah,
move it. I mean, like,
yeah,
I mean, on top of that, like, we're dudes anyway. I don't want to have to readjust like my whole like tactical map and plans and
right.
everything. Once it's locked in, no way.
Yeah. So it's important to like find a place that you and make sure that you like it too. Don't go to a place that, oh, maybe she'll like this. Like, do
Oh
you like it
yeah,
too? Someplace where you would get along with the bartenders, the crowd's good, like you would a place that you would go by yourself to enjoy a drink or bring a friend or something like that, like your spot and go from there.
yeah, exactly. But also like again, guys, like calibrate this to some degree. Like,
Yeah.
just because it's a place like you want to go doesn't mean you're taking a chick to like a cigar lounge on the first date or
Right.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like kind of
Don't
thing. Use your noggin a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird that we have to qualify that with everything these days. Nuke,
Yeah.
I mean, you're on Twitter just as much as I am. I'm sure you see all the most ridiculous and spurgy comments under your
Yeah.
tweets and such. It's rough out there.
It gets a little overwhelming because first you have like the quitters that are just like, I'm quitting, and I'm like, okay, dude, you quit, cool.
Yeah,
I quit.
exactly.
I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay, we get it.
We heard you. Yeah.
I'm quit. You don't get it. I'm quitting. And I'm like, all right, dude, we get
Yeah.
it.
I'm not gonna
What's your
chase you,
plan?
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, if at least you would say, like I quit, I'm gonna go rehab this 1967 Camaro with my dad. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. You found something else to do with your time. But it's just like I quit and that's it. I'm like, okay, dude. Well, like, what's next? What's next for you? you
Yeah.
know. In calibration, it's just like that's the nuance in calibration. People want to intellectualize like dating in game a little too much. You're
Yeah, I
gonna
agree.
find that once you get a little bit of experience, and I'm not saying like a lot, I'm saying like 3 months in, you've dated like maybe you've gone on 10 dates. By the 10th date, you're just like, this is like art. This is so much calibration and game and like kind of like chess almost that it's
Hmm.
like you're gonna start liking to do it. Granted that you get at least 30% success, you're gonna start enjoying the process because when you're creating art, you also enjoy the process.
Oh yeah,
And
like I don't know about you, Nuke, but like I'll catch myself like in my brain, like when I say something witty, like right off the cuff in response to like something a girl says, I'll
yeah,
do like a little yes, in my brain. It was like, damn,
yeah,
yeah, it was like, oh man, that was so good,
yeah, you're got to be your own cheerleader, and eventually you're gonna enjoy the process, and that's when it really starts taking off. And then once I think the another big like checkpoint guys pass is like when you finally stop taking it personal when they flake or reject you or don't
Oh
want a
yeah,
second date. Once you stop taking it personal, like it's not about you, you know, that's like you can a girl can flake, you can look at your phone and you're just like, man, and then you go back to doing whatever you were doing. It's just obviously there's some girls that you're just like, like, damn, I really liked her. Or man, I actually went and did laundry today and tried to get a nice outfit ready. But at the end of
hmm
the day, like once you get past that, it just I'm not saying it's downhill, but outcome independence is really, really nice. And it's one of those things that you will need going forward. So
hmm yeah. Well, it also just comes off like on your whole mojo, your whole attitude, like when you're on the date as well, which will make the date go better for you anyway. So it's just a healthy mindset to be having anyway. It's like,
yeah.
okay, if this girl goes, it's like, okay, whatever. I am successful enough to bag one girl, I can go bag another one. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
it gets when I say easier, I don't mean the girls get easier because also what's going to happen is your standards and tastes are going to be a little higher,
Yeah.
right? So you're going to be like, hey, I've been with 3 of these type of women. I really don't like these type of women anymore. Like I was just trying to get a higher number of lays for experience, but I actually want this now. So you're going to have to like maneuver and change how you go about doing business, right? So if you like punk rock girls, you're gonna have to start going to concerts, and
Hmm.
maybe or if you like maybe if you like Latinas, you might have to hit up Latin spots and salsa nights. You sort of like niche yourself way into the women you want, which is good. I mean, there's nothing better as a man than going after what you want in life,
Oh
right? And
yeah.
and in terms of women, business, friends, like building the life you want is pretty nice. And when guys feel like they don't have agency, they get really depressed. So that's why a lot of guys kind of like really complain out loud on Twitter, because they feel like they have a loss of agency. And I'm like, listen, if you quit, no one cares. Like, really, no one cares. No matter how
Yep.
loud you yell, no one really cares. But at the same time, if you decide to give it a shot, at least give it a year, like an honest year of effort, right? Um, and you fail a couple times, no one cares either. Like, no
Hmm.
one cares, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, uh, and people like, well, there's a question in the chat here. Guy says, thoughts on the black bill. Well, my kind of response to this is what you just said right there, Nuke, in the sense of nobody cares. And like, guys could take that in two directions. One direction is, oh, that's great. Then that means I can go and screw up a bunch of times, and the next girl isn't going to know about my failures from the previous 10 times that I've tried. She's just going
Right.
to look at me for my victories. And the other side of that is, oh no, nobody cares. No one's going to care about the struggles and all the things that I've been through, and nobody's going to throw me a bone, because I've tried the previous 10 times. It's like, okay, well, which
Choose
side do you want to
one.
look at it?
Yeah, choose one. Like, what would you rather prefer? Everyone care about you, but every single failure, everyone like was watching you, or would you prefer be anonymous, live a private life, and then when a girl that you'll never meet and never see again decides not to go out with you, you can simply say that has nothing to do with my life, and then move on. Like, I prefer the second option much more.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
right?
And the
Grant,
and the chick's going to sense that on you too, man.
yeah, and girls can feel it, like the how like how you text and how relaxed you are when you text and all that stuff, and how you like how relaxed you are on a date. It all bleeds over, and then over time, um, you're gonna start discovering like your little sixth sense about how girls are, and you're gonna be able to tell when a girl's gonna flake already,
Uh-huh.
or midday you're gonna realize like I'm never seeing this girl again, so you can cut the date short instead of ordering another round of drinks. Like
Yep.
you'll have these little like kind of like intuitions over time, and then you can also start telling when other guys aren't getting laid and are coping. Really easy to tell for that too. And
Yeah.
then you also realize when you need a break, when you're just like, hey, I'm gonna spend the next 2 months just kind of focusing on my hobbies. I need a break from this. So
Yeah. All the above are absolutely
yeah,
correct for sure.
just give
Well,
it time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think one of my biggest critiques that I have of, the whole like online dating Twitter sphere nonsense, all there is together, it's kind of about a point that you mentioned earlier about people trying to, I don't know, intellectualize like game too much. Everyone is
Hmm.
trying to make it like a step by step like process, almost like it's I don't know, like it's a walkthrough, like those old like game guide like walkthrough books you used to buy
Right.
back in the day. They're trying to make it like that, and it's just number one, it's just not how human beings work at all. Like as much as we like to say like women are basically the same. Like there is some degree of truth to that, but that doesn't mean you can be saying the exact same thing in every single situation. Eventually you're going to get caught like a deer in the headlights at that point. The
Hmm.
chick is going to go off script at some point, and then you're just going to be stuck there with your dick in your hand, basically like, oh, okay, what the hell do I do? Which is why it's not healthy for you to just be binging on a million like Troy Francis infields or whatever and just copying absolutely everything that guy does in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Like you have to make it your own.
Yeah, and also when it comes to this stuff, you got to really forgive yourself, because just by approaching one girl a week, you're doing the impossible. Like, how many guys approach one chick a week?
Yep.
Just one. Like, not even like super player, like what's up, baby? Just like a hello, I like your shoes. Something stupid. How many guys are doing that? You
Yeah,
know?
so few. Yeah,
Yeah.
which also kind of ties into again one of the issues that I have with so many of these black pill guys is they complain about like how the women are always like going for the chads and everything like that. It's like, oh my god, like what is it, the numbers they're always throwing out? It's like 80% of the girls are fucking, only 20% of the guys are yada yada yada, blah blah blah, whatever.
Mhm.
You've heard it in your comment section a million times too, but
Yeah.
you'll notice this like when you just go out with the girls of today, they're absolutely just in awe and in shock of a guy who actually knows what he's doing. and is actually like confident in himself, it's amazing to watch, you know, especially like with some of these younger girls. I hear like Nuke, surely you've gotten this before, like
Mhm.
the girl will like show you pictures or of like other text messages she's gotten from like other guys or something like that. And you're just like, what the fuck? These
Yeah,
this is like the normal dudes, really?
yeah, it's a lot of haze and hello, and then a lot of guys are disgusting. They'll say some gross shit to the girl. Obviously, the girl entertains it by like not blocking them, which is another side of the story. But for the most part, yeah, guys aren't doing so well. Like, I think ultimately, give yourself a shot. Give yourself 6 months to a year to just dip your feet into this world, and you'll be surprised what the other side has when you're learning about women. Like, a lot of people love to talk about this stuff because hope is their strategy. They think they're just gonna stumble in a relationship like the Disney ideal, or
Mm-hmm.
like 90s sitcom where you just stumble upon the girl somewhere, and that's totally possible. It's totally possible. One day you drop your books and a girl picks them up for you, and then you lock eyes, and the rest is history, right? But for the most part, you're gonna have to take action. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest white pills of a man is that you have agency.
Yep.
Once you accept you don't have agency, what's left? You have to give up. That's why I say, like, now that you know this about women and you have no chance, what's your plan going forward? You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to go paint something beautiful? Are you going to learn an instrument? Are you going to travel the world? Like, do you know how frame? You know what privilege it is for you to no longer believe you have a chance with women? That's a privilege. Like, I wish I could quit, so I can go floating around the world, live in a shack, live in the woods, do whatever I want all the time because I don't have to compete anymore for women. But you no longer care. So, or so you say. So why don't you go do something cool?
Yeah.
Build something cool, build a house.
I certainly would not be wasting my time on social media at
Exactly.
all if I was going to, you know, check out or something. Like if I was randomly gonna check out or something, it honestly would be like if I won like $1 million or something. Like I'd be gone. Nobody would hear from me again. I'd be off doing my own thing. I'd be off spending as little much time as possible working because like I could get by on so much more like by
Mhm.
myself, you
Yeah.
know, like as a single dude without having to invest in all these other things that I have to do in the pursuit of women. You know, like you guys would never hear from me again. I'd be out of here. But
Right.
you know, it's just funny, you know, like kind of like what you're saying earlier. It's like, okay, I'm quitting now. I really mean it this time. It's like, all right, dude, you don't need to tell me, man. Go
Yeah.
on out there. Don't be dragging down people with you in your misery, man.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, like, I still take L's all the time.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and the worst L's are when it's a really attractive girl where you really thought you had a connection and she's gone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it sucks, and you spend like $70 on a date, and you're just like, damn, like, and it hurts sometimes, right? But no one's saying you have to do that every other day. No one's saying you have to stack dates. You go at your own pace and your own like economic level and your own logistic level. If you live in the country, then you have to make adjustments. If you live in the city, you have to make adjustments. The whole thing is like you really gotta take away the whole like I gotta prove myself to other guys. This is for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Number dating is for you. It's for you, between you and your dick,
Yeah, pretty much.
and your
Yeah.
self-worth. Like, it really is. Like, that's another thing I want to drive home is like it's for you. It's not for your mom or dad. Obviously maybe they'll get a grandchild out of it, but it's for you. Obviously we'll trade notes here. Like, one of your followers just super chatted, like,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
think about how to be more witty on dates? Is there a book recommendation or just a matter of getting out there taking L's? Well, like, yeah, go talk to more women, but also look at comedy. Look
Yeah,
at comedians.
that was gonna be my suggestion
Yeah,
immediately. Yep.
what's your favorite comedian and learn from them. Like, all comedy is a structure, and there's some comedy, there's some things you can't joke about, right? You can't joke about like abortion and fetuses and stuff like that in
Yeah.
politics, right? Girls don't like that, but there's a lot of jokes that are in there, that are good, and that's how you learn how to be witty. It's a muscle. Your brain is,
Mhm.
yeah, and you're gonna like that. It's like playing a video game. Every time you play a video game, yeah, your body is at rest, but your mind is firing. So that's why it's engaging. So that's the point
Yeah.
of dating, is that, yeah, you get laid at the end, but what if you just had a boring conversation with a girl and got laid every single time? I mean, it's nice once in a while, but
Yeah.
you want a little bit of banter. You want a little bit of back and forth. You want the girl to
Yeah,
kind of
it's a dance,
yeah,
and
and
the
that's what makes it fun. If not, it
yes.
would be so boring.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it is nice when you know that like the chick is interested in you, the chick is into you. I mean, the classic that we all know is when the chick says we're not having sex tonight or something to that
Right, she's
effect.
already thinking about it. Yeah,
Yeah, and you're like, oh, is that so now? Uh-huh. And you can have
yeah,
fun with that, whether it's like via text or throughout the day or whatever. You're like, oh, okay, I know what's going on at this point. I just need to basically not fuck this up at this point.
correct.
Which yeah, it makes it a lot more fun that way for sure. Especially when the chick knows as well. Like you see this again, like a bunch of like blackpilling guys like will complain about like shit tests and things like that. And again, there's two sides to that. It's like, okay, the one side of it is like, oh man, you can never put your guard down because the chick is always going to be testing you, and you can never relax and all this kind of stuff, and you can't be your true self in front of your girl and things like this. But on the other side of that, it's like, okay, if she's testing you, it means like she's interested in you, wants to be around you, kind of deal. And
Yeah.
obviously, like the tests like decrease with frequency as the chick gets more invested, obviously. But
Hmm.
yeah, again, there's two sides to every one of these coins, man.
It means she's playing. I mean, she's in the game. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what you want. Like shit test is a good sign. Now
Yep.
there is a way, like with time, you'll be able to distinguish a shit test and blatant disrespect. Um, but like in the beginning, man, like you're not important. Like as a person, you ain't shit, and that's okay. I think it was Chesty that said that.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
stop taking yourself so seriously. Like no one cares, bro. Like just have fun. And if you feel like the girl really isn't feeling you or is disrespectful, don't make a scene. Just check out. Whether it be during the date or after. But you're not that important. And I think a lot of these guys, a lot of guys that quit or just all that stuff, they just feel like they're not like they have to be important in a girl's life right away. I'm like, no, dude, you're a stranger.
Mm.
Still, and put it in her perspective. Thousands of guys have thrown themselves at her, have tried to
Yep.
get with her.
Ever
Everyone's nice to
since,
her.
yep, ever since she's grown a pair of tits,
Yeah,
from that day, which has been most of their entire life,
yeah.
especially by the time you get around to them.
Right. Every single guy, except maybe her father and her brothers, have tried to get with her. In some way, shape, or form. We're nice to her and all that stuff, right? You could argue it's because of our protective instinct, but a lot of guys do nice things for girls to get in good with them, right? And she's been doing that. She's been dealing with this since she was like 12, and she's probably 26, 27 on a date with you. So it's been a long time, 15 years of this crap. And she said, "Hey, I like this guy. Let me go on a date. I'm gonna give him a little bit of hard time because I have to weed out. I have no choice but to weed out a guy. And you as a guy, and then she's like, man, what do I wear? I'm gonna shave my legs. I'm gonna cancel that phone call with my mom. I'm gonna walk my dog early.
Mm.
I'm a little nervous. Should I
I'm
do
gonna,
my hair, my
yeah, I'm
makeup?
gonna make sure I'm not gonna eat that much food beforehand.
Right.
They're thinking about everything, man.
Yeah. And you do all these things, or she does all these things, and you still need her to validate how important you are through text or through like in a conversation, right? So of course she's going to shit test you. She's putting a lot of effort already into showing up for the date. The minute she walks out the car, and I promise you she's more nervous than you are.
Oh, absolutely true.
So
Yeah.
with that mindset, and a lot of people see the way I talk to women or their suggestions I give, they're like, "Oh, that's not alpha enough," or "You're
Oh
not
my
setting
god.
expect." I'm like, dude, like I'm very calibrated. And here's the thing. This is why I'm calibrated, right? I live in a city. It's hot. It's 105 degrees in Texas right now. I'm in Arkansas right now, but it's 105 degrees in Texas right now. There's a lot of traffic in downtown Dallas. Not terrible, but there's still a lot of traffic, and parking's rough, right? So instead of me knowing this, knowing that girls are stressed, it's the city. A lot of them have like kind of fast-paced jobs. Then I have to kind of be like, instead of me saying, hey, it's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday and you have to drive 30 minutes through stop and go traffic. Hey, wear something nice for me, that I like. I'm like, I'm not going to say that because in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? If she shows up, that's good enough for me, first date. I ain't shit, right? I am not that important.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say, I'm going to try to wear something nice for you. I don't do that because I'm qualifying to her. I'm doing it because I want her to relax. You know, I want her
Hmm.
to be. I want to be the most fun, exciting, relaxing thing of her day, and that's the way I think. Now, could I be wrong? Of course. If someone has notes to trade with me, cool. I'll be like, yeah, of course. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm not a super authority on this. I just did it, and I have things to share.
Yeah,
But
exactly. So much of this like alpha and beta talk is again like we were talking about before about people trying to intellectualize this way too much. And again, like there's not one way to skin a cat with this stuff by any means. And you could have extreme variance in how your game plays just if you live like 15 miles away from some other dude. You know, like
mhm,
you being out like in the suburbs is different than being in the city, is different being in rural, is different in being at a certain time of town, at a certain time of day, you know, whatever. It's all there's so many variables in this kind of stuff, which is why, you know, I don't mean to pick on this guy, Jason here in the chat, but like comments kind of like this again like this is just way too broad. This is like your mind like kind of on you know what I like to call manosphere TM. It's like how do I pass shit tests other than agree and amplify? This is kind of just like a bunch of words they're all thrown together, you know, kind of deal, you know, which like obviously you use like agree and amplify in certain situations, and obviously you can use like you know any of the other tactics we talk about varying upon your situation. But again, this is you intellectualizing it way too much without you just going out and doing it basically. You know, it's like you can have like a general game plan, general ideas what you're supposed to be doing, but if you're sitting there thinking like on the date like, oh, do I need to agree and amplify in this situation, just go and try it, man. And yeah, you're probably going to screw up like a lot of times, but you know when you finally figure out and it hits for you, that's just like you maxing out that skill for forever, basically. You know, it's like you're not going to go backwards after that. Like once you figure it out, you know, it's like riding a bike, you know?
yeah. And even if you've stopped riding a bike for a long time, you pick it up like within 2 minutes. You're like, oh yeah, I remember muscle memory, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Got a super chat here from TK. About 2016 or so, I learned the hard lesson of don't talk RP with your female. When I,
Yes.
yeah, that's 100% true. That's one we definitely got to talk about because I'm sure
Mhm.
we've all made that mistake. When I taught a 30-year-old side piece about fertility windows, let's hear about how you guys learned that lesson personally. Oof, wow. I remember one time I tried to get a girl to read like an RP piece, like an RP article. I do remember doing that once.
Oh no.
Oh, it was fucking stupid. It was so dumb, you know. And she just responded with like a one-word answer. I think it was K. I think that's all she did. I don't even think she
Yeah.
wrote out like okay. It was just K. I was like, fuck. Yeah,
What have I done?
yeah, exactly. Do not talk RP stuff with the women. Number one, you're just treating a girl like she's a dude right off the bat, thinking that she's just gonna rationally change her mind about some topic she's been, you know, feeding her emotions into her entire life, all by reading some new information. Number one, it's not how women's brains work. And number two, her just reading about the topics and the tactics itself, she's just gonna look at you like you have three heads. It's like, why do
Yeah.
you need to learn this from a book? This isn't right.
Right. So, girls don't want the game explained to them. They just want you to get it. Right. That's your burden of performance as a man. Don't ask them to understand what it is to be a man. Right. The last time I did that, it was a couple years ago. My girlfriend, I think 2 years ago, my girlfriend, I explained to her how hard it is to date as a man. And I told her my dating experiences. You know, a lot of them are pretty sad too. And she started crying, you know, not out of rage, but out of like, you know, just kind of like there's just like dark, like I feel like deep down women know how hard it is to deal with them. And
Yeah.
when I tell her the stories of other women that I've dated, right, and like RP concepts with that, and she starts crying, you know, that all I'm doing is firing her anxiety, and not the good type, up to 100, because now she feels, does he see me like that? You know, am I going to be a
Mm-hmm.
good girl for him? You know, so it goes both ways. Like, even if you do it with good intentions or do it because, you know, it's story time, you know, just say something else. You know, tell them another sad story. Don't ever delve into the world of like red pill praxology. Like it's not for them. You know, it's for us.
No,
And
it's
you
not.
and if you don't believe me, look at all the women on Twitter trying to either dismantle or post or prove the red pill. It's cringe. When they do it,
Mm-hmm.
it's so cringe. I'm just like, This is very
Yeah.
cringe.
Yeah. It's like every time Pearl opens her mouth, like, ugh, really?
Yeah, and she doesn't speak with conviction either. If you notice,
No,
there's
no,
no.
because it's not true for her. Because it can never be true for her.
Yeah,
Bro.
and I'm just like, yeah, and also it's like, what's your plan? Like, you saying all this
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Basically,
Like we're not here to. We already
oh, your
know
audio
that.
disconnected, Nuke.
Oh, it is test. Am I
Yeah, I
back?
think your audio is still screwed up. Maybe it's on my end. Maybe I'm muted. Hold on.
You guys hear me in the chat?
Nah, I can't hear you. Just keep playing with it and talk as you will. I'm going to answer this super chat here. Hopefully audio gets fixed.
Test.
Dark Knight Dev for the $5 cuck article approved super chat. Thank you, sir. Good to see you in the chat, man. Always happy to see you in Ryan's chat as well. Let's quit holding women accountable. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Remember, ABC, always be charming. Yeah. Maybe. Wow, people in the chat are saying they can't hear Nuke. What the hell? Why can't I hear him? This is some bullshit. Hold on.
Test.
Let me go screw up with some audio here.
Anyways,
Nuke, answer the question about why you should be holding women accountable. I'm just screwing around with my audio here.
Okay, so yeah, you shouldn't hold women accountable because that's not how they're only accountable to one man. That's the man they're sexually attracted to at the time, right? So they'll only be accountable to him. So don't waste your time. Excel Self says, "Wait, when was there a time when we held women accountable? Did I miss that?" Yeah, we did, but like we burned them on stakes as witches, and it really wasn't their fault. So, um, it was false accusation, and I really don't want to go back to that. So, hey, we have Chad Elkins, CPA. I don't have anything to add. I'm just enjoying the conversation. Yeah, man. Thanks for super chatting the video. Got a lot of good super chats. Maximilian Schkan. While planning on setting up multiple dates in one day, it can be beneficial when one of the girls will cancel. However, it can be tiresome to go on like 3 dates in one day. Yeah, I really don't have too much of an ego about this anymore. So if a girl cancels on me, it just means I don't have to shower, leave my house, and I can go back to doing what I want to do. Right? I don't work my day around a date unless the girl is completely in my frame. Things are escalating and things are looking good. But if it's a first date, um, I don't see why you have to stack dates unless you're like in Colombia or some other foreign country and you have a week to party or 2 weeks there to party. Yeah, I would stack dates because you're out of time, right? But if it's in your city where you live, there's no rush. I don't see personally you would stack dates unless you're trying to prove something to yourself. Then that's different. That's like your personal goal, right? But in terms of like ROI on setting multiple dates and the amount of effort and logistics and all that stuff, it could become a headache and you'll just get like burnt out. But if you have the time and energy to do it, by all means, go ahead. Or if you're overseas and you don't have time, then yeah.
All right. Audio's still fucked on my end. I can't hear. I'm gonna play around with it after the stream here, but we're coming up to the hour anyway. Just gonna answer Mr. Elkins. Good to see you in the chat, man. Don't know anything to add. Just enjoying the conversation. Yeah, good to see you, man. Most handsome man in Chicago. Happy for you to be here. Righto, but we are going to close down here. Thank you for coming on, Nuke. I'll be sure to link your channel description here, guys. Go follow Nuke on Twitter. Go follow him on his YouTube. He's putting out some good stuff. Always happy to have him on here. He'll give me like 10 seconds here to chill, and then I'll close it down for us. Go ahead. All right, hopefully the man said his piece there. And with that, guys, we're going to close this down, and I'm going to go play around with stupid StreamYard or whatever the hell is causing problems. So catch you guys next time. Follow me on Twitter. Follow the Old Glory Club. There'll be a stream going on in about 20 minutes there. Big stuff going on over there, so check that stuff out. But we'll see you guys next time.